Welcome back, Alpha Hunters. Okay, we just closed another week in the books, and really what a week it was. We saw some continued selling that came in the second half of the week, but before we get into the SPY, the Qs, and that kind of stuff, I got three things I need to kind of cover real quick. First off, I will be gone next Friday, so no market update video from me. But if this video does get 50 likes, I'll do a market video update on Monday, February the 28th, which will also be the final trading day for February, which is going to be kind of crucial because we do want to see where the SPY and the Qs close on a monthly relative to this 10 EMA as it's been coming up. So more on that in just a little bit, but if this video does get 50 likes, I'll put out a video on Monday, the 28th. The second thing is the purpose of these weekly videos is to keep you informed with what's going on and what you can expect going forward. A lot of you guys out there have full-time jobs and you can't keep in track with what's going on day to day in the market. And this is just kind of to give you a quick recap of what's going on this past week and what I'm expecting kind of going forward. You don't have to play it the way I'm playing it, but just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking at. But if you're looking for my thoughts on what's going on during the week, I'll be posting that information in the Discord below. For now, it's not too busy as I already have positions in play and I'm mostly just waiting. But if you do need questions answered, that's the best place to kind of come in, ask your questions, and I'll get back with you as soon as I can, okay? But Tuesday, I did post this comment before the market rolled over for the remainder of the week. Well, I guess after the market bounced from the Fed Wednesday news. And then number three, which is why you're not seeing a lot of comments in the Discord right now, is my current outlook on the market is kind of a wait and see. We're at this time period, if I zoom back in on a weekly, that I don't really know kind of where we're at. We're at the top of this box area here. I do have short positions already on, but I wouldn't be looking to open positions at this point in time, okay? So let's get into looking at the SPY and the Qs. So right now, if you don't have positions short, I would just kind of wait as we kind of need to get below this area. So we are looking at the SPY on a weekly. And one of the things I was looking at for the SPY on a weekly was, I'm gonna zoom in a lot here. This opening candle from 4 weeks ago was right here. We actually got down to the low of that today. We got down to that open, and I was very curious to see if we were going to actually close below that open. If you would ask me about mid-morning, I would have said there was a very strong chance that we could have done that, but we wound up not doing that. And that's fine. It doesn't really change my indication. But if we do look at the Qs, obviously they did. As you can see, this close here is below the open from 4 weeks ago. So that's, to me, is still a clear indication we are going to continue to go lower. I would expect the Qs to probably break the low of 4 weeks ago, probably next week, okay? So if you do come into the Discord and ask questions anytime after Wednesday, I probably won't be getting back to you as I will be out in a non-cell phone reception area. So I'm gonna have to be pretty strict on where I have stop losses and stuff for my own trading, but just kind of keep that in mind. If I don't get back to you the second half of next week, that's gonna be why. But I would expect us to probably break this low next week, okay? That's what I'm expecting. And what we could probably expect to see is the Qs come down, hit the 100 moving average, and it might not happen, maybe it doesn't happen next week, maybe it happens the week after, the first week of March, but I would expect the probably selling to keep coming down and the Qs to kind of come down, hit this 100 moving average. At the same time on the SPY, we kind of come down and we hit the low from 4 weeks ago. And I would imagine they would bounce a little bit, the SPY would bounce a little bit. And then on the Qs, we would bounce off that 100, hit the bottom of this low from 4 weeks ago. And as the SPY is bouncing from that, then it would roll over and come down and hit this 400 level on the SPY. So let me brush what I'm kind of talking about. So on the SPY here, I would imagine we kind of come down, we hit that low right there, we bounce back up into this area, and then we roll over, something like that. And then On the Qs, what I would expect to see is them just to come down to the 100 moving average, then bounce, hit the bottom of that low from like 4 weeks ago, and then roll over probably down into this area or something like that. That's about what I'm expecting from the Qs and the SPY, or the NQs and the ES. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. But if the Qs break that low and the SPY hasn't, that is what I would be looking for. Okay. So what was the big news kind of going on this week? Well, let's look at the daily picture. That's my artistic ability on that red line there. Really, what we saw Tuesday was probably the more bullish day. So you got this big gap up. Russia kind of backed off a little bit of the troops on the Ukraine border, so the market was positive on that. But that was the morning I did say, hey, this is like not like market changing news. You know, go ahead and flip long positions and put it over to cash or short positions, that kind of thing. But then the market did take Wednesday's Fed news positively, as I guess the Fed news that came out, they didn't mention in their previous Fed meeting that they were looking to raise interest rates by 50 basis points. But that didn't mean that they're not going to. Okay, and that's what the market, I guess, reacted to. And I was just like, no, that's the dumbest reason to buy. Just because they don't mention something doesn't mean they're not going to do something. Okay, so then on Thursday we saw continued selling on Thursday, Friday to end out the week. Guys, I mean, I still think there's a huge amount of risk out there with interest rates, because there's two main factors with the Fed that's going forward, right? They're going to raise interest rates and they're going to decrease their balance sheet. Okay, and for the past 12 years, you've heard a whole lot about, you know, don't fight the Fed and things like that. That's kind of just been the mindset of investors, and they've been buying up a lot of bonds, assets, and stuff like that. So this is just one of those things that I'm not really digging any kind of news that doesn't revolve around the Fed and their reduction of the Fed balance sheet and stuff like that. So that's like one of the main things that I'm looking at, is what is the Fed doing? Okay, for the longest time, they've been buying assets, which drives up market prices. But now we have the biggest buyer of assets over the past 12 years no longer buying assets. Okay, that is not exactly bearish for the market. And anything that's been driving higher significantly over the past 12 years is going to continue to get hammered, right? We saw that again today with NVIDIA, past 2 days really, NVIDIA with Thursday, Friday. And this is a very clear indication that NVIDIA will go lower, as I know some of the guys from last week's comments, they were really talking about this candle that came in last Friday, that they were really hoping to see some turnaround. You got that Tuesday. Man, you got that Tuesday. That was a solid turnaround, but we didn't clear this high. We didn't clear the high of that week, and it rolled back over the Thursday, Friday, and they settled down real hard, and they even broke last week's low on NVIDIA. I would expect more downside on NVIDIA. Even though it's right at the 200 moving average, I would expect it probably just to maybe even hang out for a day or two and then go lower. I would expect that probably on the general market, as we sold down 2 days pretty good to end out the week. So I would expect maybe a little bit of bullishness, maybe Monday, Tuesday. I wouldn't expect too much. We'll probably just go sideways and then push lower, especially if we do go sideways. If we don't take out today's high, we'll probably just go sideways and roll over. And then AMD also, pretty much the same thing, took out last week's low. And really, AMD didn't bounce nearly as hard as NVIDIA did, right, on Tuesday, Wednesday. So AMD is not looking all that well. Most semiconductors don't look that well either. But those are just some of the things I'm watching. There wasn't really much going on out there as far as stock news this week. Apparently, a report came out about Ford and the possibility of spinning off their EV business, their electric vehicle business. And this could be big time for Ford. And depending upon how that spinoff goes, could be a potential investment in either an EV Ford play, or I don't know. It's just going to depend upon how they spin that off. if they actually follow through with it. I know they've been having dealer issues with getting their electric vehicles out to the marketplace and stuff like that. So this might be probably what is going on is they're looking to spin off the electric vehicle business into its own business and get away from the dealer contracts and supply chain. Watch out for that. That is very crucial, okay? They are trying to get around these dealerships, and if they can do that, that is what they will do. So that was, yeah, I mean, that's really kind of most of the things that are going on this week. I'm just watching Amazon. I do have a short position on Amazon, but mostly I'm already in positions. I'm not really advising to take things right now, as we are right on the top of this zone. And if we get back above, really, I would say if we get back above this week's high, back above Wednesday's high, so the 448 level, I would be bullish on the SPY. If we do break down and start to get to the low into the mid 420s or lower, I could definitely see us going and just picking up some more bearish positions and playing it to the short side down to the 400. Yeah, I could definitely see that easy. So that's just what I'm looking at, but I wouldn't really pick up anything right here. If you wanted to try and pick up a long here, not a bad spot, but it's not really what I'm looking for. And the last thing is, I did a video on Tuesday about KHC, and really, I did not expect this 3-day move, honestly. It doesn't normally move like that, right? This is the largest movement it's had on a weekly in a very long time. I would definitely be bullish. That is super strong. This is the only reason why I'm covering this, because I actually came up with a plan on Wednesday, and it kind of just destroyed that plan as it just went really bullish. I still think you could probably do the wheel type strategy or something like that on this, but the fact that on a weekly it just closed above the 200 moving average is extremely bullish. I wouldn't like go out there and just buy it like right now. I think over the next week or two, you'll probably get it'll probably pop higher. You'll probably get that pullback down to the 200 moving average where this previous resistance is, like where all that kind of is right here on this line, right around the 38.20 level. I would say if you want to go long there, not bad. But the next stop after this would be back up to this 45 level. But I don't typically want to cover things I've done in other videos on these weekly market outlooks. I just wanted to call that out because I did just very recently look at doing a plan on this, and it kind of just blew up that plan with this past 3-day moves after earnings. So this is another very clear indication, though, to me that the market has issues with risky assets, and people are, or not people, but okay, people, yes, but investors are flocking and going hard into safe assets. Food stocks, Kraft Heinz Company is a safe asset, right? People are going to continue to eat no matter what the economy does or anything like that. So people are going to safe havens, and that is a very clear indication. And Warren Buffett's a big time owner of KHC. So I think this would be a really good one. You could do the wheel. You could also do some bullish plays to the upside. I would say give yourself some time. You can do some like verticals and that kind of thing, as it kind of just goes higher. I wouldn't go too far out of the money, but if you did like bullish put verticals, you know, at the same level but just out in the future, you'd probably be okay. But KHC looks to be really good for a setup for a push higher, especially up to the $45 area. Okay. But that will pretty much do it for me on what's going on this week in the market. But if this video does get 50 likes, I will do a video on Monday the 28th, because I will not be able to do a video on next Friday, the 25th. Okay? So just keep that in mind. If the video doesn't get 50 likes, well, you know what? You get to hear my lovely voice in 2 weeks. I hope all of you have a great weekend. You know, just stay patient. I know the market's being quite wonky and stuff like that, but let the market tell you what it's going to do, and then you just ride the wave. I'll be here for you if you got any questions. Alrighty, take care, Alpha Hunters.